time. Hello everyone, welcome to Ben's Brick Designs. I actually think I got the encoder set up and everything right this time. So what you're seeing is probably the YouTube live management channel, and we're just gonna roll on from here. Let's see what we got going on. Right off the bat, what's the hops? Good to see you, thanks for joining up again. What's the Hops is my friend from Austin here who does a live stream and video recap stuff of breweries here in Austin and stuff about you know, the beer industry and the brewing industry and stuff like that. So it's good to see you. Thanks for joining. Make sure that I've got everything rolling here the proper way. I've got OBS going. Also, if the music's not coming through, let me know. I think I could probably turn it up a little bit. It's good in my ears, but if it's too loud, everybody, just let me know. So, last week we worked on the Hapen Battle Dragon, which was a capital ship from the Hapes Consortium, which was a Legends era, or a, was it Legacy? No, it was a Yuzong Vong, but Legends, meaning Extended Universe ship. And where we left off was not this, but this is where we finished, or this is where I finished later in the week. I'm sort of happy with the way it all turned out. It's a little high on the piece count. Oh, thank you. This shirt, yeah, let's break this down real quick. The shirt here is another Will Heron exclusive shirt. I don't wear it in public a lot because it was washed with some kitchen floor mats, and the undercoating on the floor mats is a kind of a rubber coating that broke apart kind of easily in the washing machine. And you may not be able to tell, but it's flecked pieces of rubber all over the shirt that stuck, and now it's stained with these black dots all over the place. Harder to tell on the camera, but it's not a shirt I'm going to wear in public much anymore, but I'll wear it on the stream because it's very appropriate, and it's literally one of my favorite shirts. So, Will, I'm going to have to buy another shirt from you, just so you know. And I'll link Will's site in the description afterwards. He does great designs like this for shirts. He does a lot of conventions and a lot of events here in Austin, and it's worth checking out. You can buy his stuff at Blue Genie. And I don't know if he does the Armadillo Christmas thing or not, but he does. I think he does some farmers markets, and you can get his stuff online and whatnot. So check him out. So this is the Hapen Battle Dragon that we finished last week. I'm mostly happy with it. If you weren't here last week and don't know what a Hapen Battle Dragon is, let me pull that out for you real quick. It is a ship that is kind of it's really it's not terribly obscure, but it's really unique looking. It's two cylindrical pieces, and this middle part kind of rotates around, and each of these kind of rotates along the sort of the radius of the ship. And the cool thing about this ship is that it's a capital ship, so it has turbo lasers, and it will fire turbo lasers that tend to overheat. And so they spin them around this axis or this radius so that one will fire, they spin to a new one, another will fire, they spin to a new one, throws up a wall of laser barrage energy versus like other capital ships like a Star Destroyer or a Mon Calamari, where that laser, that giant turret fires and then it has to kind of wait for it to cool off and then fire again, because if you fire too often, you'll slag the metal, the barrel will melt, you'll blow out all the circuitry, that kind of stuff. So this is what it's supposed to look like. Again, these are mostly artist renderings. There's a couple orthos that I found, but this is where we ended up, and I'm not terribly unhappy about this. It was just really kind of weird to figure out. This is probably the most unique ship that I've done as a microfighter. And some of this is a little weird, like this bar, like these bars are a little, they're just kind of hanging by these clips. If you're any kind of Lego builder, you'll know this really isn't sustainable. This is kind of it's kind of a hack. It's kind of a cheat. But if it were just to be displayed, it's probably all right, as long as no one's playing with it too much. And if you want, you can take these clips off. You can take this bar off, and it looks just fine without it. I'm really happy with the way this sort of central turret area with the with these guys with the bar holders turned out. You have to kind of make sure that they don't line up with the bars, or else they're gonna blast those things to smithereens. Now the figure that I picked, I forget her name. It's like she's a queen of the Hapes Consortium. She's very popular with cosplay people. I forget her name right off the top of my head. Hapen Dragon Queen is something. But I think the name of the ship is the Dragon Queen. Yeah, Tenel Ka Jo is her name. So that's a rough approximation of Tenel Ka Jo. And this is again going to be one of those figures where I'm just going to have to get it custom made. So this is kind of, there's not a whole lot. She's an extended universe character. You don't really physically see her. She exists in books. But, I did my best with sort of, she's kind of an elf-looking thing, with red hair and braids, and she's got a fighting staff and a lightsaber, So most of these parts, I think, exist. I think some of the colors may be a little off. The hair, oddly enough, works. The shoulder armor could be a different color. The torso probably needs to be a different color. This lightsaber hilt doesn't exist in that color, but you can kind of fake it with something else. I like the way that the axis worked. We stacked it on top of each other. I like the way that the roundedness here of the snot bricks. It's not perfectly egg-shaped, but it works, I think, pretty well, given all things considered. So that's where we ended up. If you're interested in this, let me know. I can put the IO file. The IO file and the XML file for the want list for Bricklink are all going to be up on the Google Drive site. And if you want access to that, just let me know. I can put it up there for you. I don't think I made any changes between this and the XML file. So this should be what you get off Bricklink. So that's where we ended off last week. Before I move on, some housekeeping stuff. I would like to mention somebody who's kind of been following my work since I started doing these microfighters. And, oh, you know what? Before we do that, here's the beers this week. This week we're doing Temptress French Quarter. This is relatively new release from Lakewood Brewing. I'm a big fan of the Temptress bourbon barrel aged. This is actually a milk stout. It's an imperial milk stout. It's not a bourbon barrel aged stout. So it's got a little bit, the mouth feels a little different. It's not as bitter. This also has chicory flavor. So if you're a big fan of chicory coffee, like New Orleans style coffee, this is really good. I'm really happy with the way this tastes. So I'm going to be buying this a lot. The problem is for a 4-pack, it's $13. So it's a little pricey. So I'm probably not going to do this too much. This is a special occasion beer, not really a table beer, but I bought like three of these 4-packs this weekend already. I just really like the taste of it. So cheers, happy Saturday. Let me know what you're drinking. You can even see it's got a little, I don't know if you can tell on that or not, but it's got a bit of fleur-de-lis on the coffee cup, indicating the kind of the New Orleans flavor. The second one we're going to be cracking into later is another one of those mystery beers that I got from Witchcraft Brewing. It is Cigar City Brewing Golden Ale, American Golden Ale. I have a feeling this one's going to be very mild, very smooth, not a lot going on, but, a very even keel kind of taste. So, cheers, happy Saturday. Let's see. I don't have any new parts for any builds. But I do have, I was going to show you guys kind of my process a little bit here before we get into the design aspect. So if you've been following me on Instagram, and if not, I'll link to Instagram. I've been posting, I think I'm done now, all my designs that I've done, mostly my designs. I've done very few of somebody else's designs, even if I've had to like reverse engineer them off a photo off Flickr. But what I'll do is I'll do a design, and then I'll take the parts list, and I'll go through all my bricks here, and I'll find out if I have the bricks that I need to build it. And if not, I'll just keep them in this little bag, and then I go to Bricklink and say, these are the parts I need, and then order the parts. So I'm waiting on parts for an Imperial Patrol ship. This is the Imperial Patrol Trooper. I probably introduced him last week. Bye, Beth.
Hey.
We'll see you later. And then I'm also ordering parts for Genevex class fighter, which I'm very excited for. This is actually not my design, but it's a very cool design. I'm trying to remember if it's the name of the designer. And if I don't remember, you can go to Google Drive, and anybody that I've credited a design for, they're in there, and links to their portfolio of builds. So that's going to be fun. I've ordered the parts for that. I've also ordered the parts for the Houndstooth, which is, I don't know if you can see him here, that's Bosk's ship. There's Bosk. So I've got parts coming in for that. I've also got parts coming in again for the Owl. If you haven't seen the Owl, check out my Instagram page, and I did an Owl it was a design for a contest that it was a little over exuberant in its scope. So I ended up wanting to build it myself, and it's going to be at Brick Fiesta because the parts have come in. Now I'd like to show you what I feel is the best recipient or the best mailing from a Bricklink store to date. Now this is just some of the parts that I got for the Owl. It's a lot of tan and brown and white. The hinges that I need, some of these 1x2 kind of angled slopes, or they're the slopes that are cut off a little bit. But anyway, this was really cool, this little thing. Now sometimes you get notes like this in your shipments that say thank you for shopping at this shop. This one specifically was like, thanks for your order, more inspiration up on the Brick Time. This is a German site. It's called the Brick Time store. And on the back it says, Achtung, dies Liefering Bahnhalle Teil, de nicht für Kinder under 3 Jahren. Don't eat these don't give these to 3-year-olds or under, basically. But this is very cool. This is like good, solid paper stock, and it's a really nice print, and I'm going to give them good ratings. So if you can shop on Bricklink and shop at the Brick Time store out of Germany. I'm going to take my glasses off because I need bifocals apparently. Yeah, this is out of Berlin. So, and whoever designed that, fantastic. I'm not going to be able to really show you, but so those are the ones that I have ordered. Now I have other bags here that, like this is the bag of the Owl. This is all the parts for the Owl. That's a lot. I also have, these are the microfighters that I've yet to build. And they all kind of live, there's a Gungan, so this is going to be a Bongo, the Gungan Bongo. This is going to be a TIE Reaper, I've got probably, 15 or so in here that I need to order parts for. So when you see that donate link at the bottom, this is what it goes to. So I will eventually order all these. This is probably about a third, maybe a quarter of all the designs that I have that I want to get built. I want to get a lot of these done by Brick Fiesta, so I can have something to show. Now, what is Brick Fiesta, you ask? Well, Brick Fiesta, and I'm not even going to pull up the site, but Brick Fiesta is the local convention here in Austin, Texas. It actually rotates. It goes from Austin to Dallas to San Antonio and Houston. It's put on by Alamo Incorporated, or Alamo Inc., which is kind of the parent company for Brick Fiesta, the convention. They're the ones that put it on, but Alamo Inc. is basically run by the members of the Texas Lego User Group, TexLug. If you're interested, and if you're in Austin, it's going on July 4th through 7th, and it's going to be at, and I don't remember the hotel it's going to be at, but it's going to be in the Arboretum. They'll have a public day. You don't have to go for like a whole weekend, because unless you're really into Lego, a full weekend kind of can be a little weird, because there's a lot of demonstrations, and there's talks, and there's events that we'll do that are really great for Lego enthusiasts, but for the general public, it's nice to go for like one day and look at all the builds that everybody brings. And people come from out of town, all over the country. Some come from outside of the U.S. to display their models, and they're all fantastic. It's usually a really, really interesting time to check out new builds and new ideas. So it's a lot of fun. And so if you're interested, I'll put some information in the description. So to that end, I will be bringing the owl. I'll bring my microfighters. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to try to tip the camera a little bit down, but I'm also bringing this castle or this throne room. It'll take me a second. There we go. Maybe something like that. This is a throne room that I built for a model or a build challenge that we did with our user group. You can't really see it that well, but I've got some pictures on Instagram. I'll probably be bringing that, and as well as this house. So Lego does a thing called modulars, and modulars are basically houses that fit together, or they're houses and buildings and businesses and stuff, but they fit together on a single base plate, and they have Technic bricks and Technic pins that if you sit them next to other ones, they snap in together. So you can build a bunch of them, and they're all like, you know, you've probably seen them. It's like the Palace Cinema and the Pet Shop, and there's a courtyard something, I can't remember what it is, but they're all these kind of really cool, and they're stackable. They're 2 or 3 stories tall. You can take off the stories and see inside, and you know, they're fantastic. So we had a challenge to build an 8 wide, meaning it's very skinny. It's only 8 studs wide, but it's still modular format, which means it's the right depth, right? So that's still 32, but it's only 8 wide. So I drew parts that were dark gray and blue, so I thought I'd make a lake house, right? So this is kind of the kind of house you'd see on the edge of a lake where, you know, it's kind of geared towards fun on the lake. And the thing that fell off down here was a little ski boat or a little jet ski, and it kind of sits on the back here. It's loose because you want playability, right? But then this whole thing separates too. So each story, and I'm going to try to do this without destroying it, each story comes apart, and you can see the inside, so you can see the tile work on the inside there. And then the second story comes off, and there's a bedroom in there, or there's a game room or a TV kind of thing. So there's like a couch and a chair. There's a nice little Lego chair, and there's, you know, the inside of that. Can't really tell, but I've got some pictures. I think I put this also on Instagram. And then the roof comes off, and there's a bedroom up there. I'm not going to really show you that, but you can see in the window there's a bedroom in there. It's got a bed and a nightstand and everything. So anyway, we all got together and we built these, and it was really cool to look at because there are like 15 of these, and I'm hoping that more people bring them to Brick Fiesta, because then we can kind of put them together and interspersed with the actual modular, so it'll give it a nice texture where it kind of feels like this could actually exist. It's not just square, a square, a square, but it's a square and kind of smaller, and a square and a little smaller. In fact, if we could do some 16 wides, I think that'd be fun. Do some alleyways and things. So these are the things I'll be bringing to Brick Fiesta. Also, some good news. I got word that the shipment for the rest of the capital bricks should be coming pretty soon. So I'm very excited to see if we can get those in the next month, and then we'll have a couple months to actually build the capital. Here's hoping, because it's 60,000 bricks, and I don't know how long that's going to take to build. I don't know how I'm going to get it done in my house. There's a guy, Tim, who is part of our Text Lab group, and shout out to Tim for doing this. He's built the table that will hold it, so we can split these up, and it's 5 sections of table, and we build on those strips, and then we can transport them that way. So we can get them outdoors, because that's something you don't think about when you're designing a giant model is, oh, how do I get it out of my house once it's built? So we've split it up into 5 strips, and hopefully we can get those all built, and we'll just see. And if it I'm not going to kill myself. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So if you're going to go to Brick Fiesta, it might be there, it might not. If not, it'll be at the next Brick Fiesta, which I don't know what city that's in yet, but I'll be there. I'll be there this year. I'll be there the next year. So that's update worthy. So I'm not going to show you the list of builds, but I may put a link in the description later to kind of show you. I think I talked about this before, wanting to get an idea of, like, if you guys are Star Wars fans, what you'd like to see built next. There are so many good builders out there, and I'm going to mention one here in a minute, that a lot of these current sets and a lot of well-known ships, Y-Wings and X-Wings and stuff like that, ships from the new movies, the speeder from Solo. I'm trying to think of what else that was done recently. There's just a lot of really good designers out there who are kind of really getting into the microfighter thing. And they've been doing it for a while, for like 4 years or so, since they first came out. And there are mock builds of microfighters that are actually better than the ones that Lego has done. And I'd like to build those too. So to that end, there's one that I've kind of recently discovered, and their screen name is Trending Brick. They're on Instagram. They just posted something on Reddit about the stuff that they've been doing, and their builds are fantastic. They've redone a lot of the Lego ones. So they've taken the Star Destroyer and they've done, I think, a U-Wing, and they've kind of redone them in their own, put their own spin on it. And they're fantastic. This is a really talented designer. I hope they're watching. I put a link out on Reddit for them to stop by and say hi. So if you're there, cheers. There's some really good stuff. But if they get to a design that I haven't done yet, or it's not on my list to do, I may steal it from them and just reverse engineer it, or get them to send me the IO file so I can build it. Like, I don't have enough of these things to do, but if they stumble on one that's really good, I'd really like to build that. To that end, by this time next week, I will probably have more bags or I will have more shipments that are, I have all my bricks set aside for building at least 2 more microfighters, but I don't have, oh, and I'm bleeding. That's fantastic. I don't have a webcam, but I have my Pixel, but I'm streaming on a Mac. So I've been looking all day today for Mac or Pixel Android to Mac software that I can use to turn a Pixel into a webcam. So I can have the face cam, right? But I can have this guy sitting up on a tripod so I can do some building. So if anybody knows, if you watch this later and you know of some software that can do Android phone, Mac OS, laptop, let me know. I haven't been able to find stuff. I found Droid Cam for Android, but it requires you have a PC. And I found like Camiablo or something like that. That's mostly OS, but it doesn't really work with Pixel or with Android that well. So I'm trying to figure out what software I need on both sides so I can do this, because I don't have an iPhone and I don't want to work on my PC laptop because it's my work laptop and I don't want to like throw a bunch of software in there. I don't need to. So if I can keep it on the Mac, great. If you have any pointers on that, just let me know. So that next time we can probably do a build, maybe I'll just do a video of it instead of a stream, but I'd like to do a stream. I think that'd be fun to do a build while we're working on it. Real quick, if you are a Lego fan and you haven't seen the shop at home discounts, if you go to Lego, there are several sets that are discounted, but you won't notice that they're discounted until you actually put them in your cart and go to pay for it, and then you'll see the discounted price. So I picked up a first order heavy walker set. It's the really lame crab-like walker that it just doesn't make any sense. You don't see it in the movie. It's not that great of a set, but it comes with a couple good figures, one of which I need, General Hux. So for $25 on a $50 set, that's pretty good. I might go back and get one more to do a draft with our group. To that extent, or to the along the same lines, if you have any opinions about the Target Red card, let me know. I'm thinking about getting one because I don't have one. I've heard a couple of people say it's pretty good to have just if you're going to go shopping at Target for anything. And it attaches to your bank account or to your debit card, not really your bank account. And it's not a credit card per se, but it gives you discounts, gives you 5% off, I think. And there are exclusives that you can get through Target. And one of them is the Darth Vader bust coming out at the same time. I think that Star Wars Celebration comes out. So while I'm not really happy that, I'm not a big fan of exclusives, but I understand why they do it. But if I had a chance to get one and for not much, you know, and it doesn't cost me anything, why not do it? So if you have any opinions about the Target Red card, let me know. And I think that's it for like housekeeping crap, you know. Oh, one more important thing, the most important thing I had at the top of my list. There's someone who's a big fan, or I've been a big fan of, and they've helped a lot in the past. He's a member of the TechSlug group. I really won't put out his name right now, but you can find some of his work here, and he does these instructions that are animated. I'm not going to click on any now because it will be competing music, but he's taken some of the models that I've done and animated the building process. So if you want, the name of this channel is Brick Space Instructions. He's also involved with a lot of people who are doing a lot of homeworld stuff. You can see here a lot of the Tidan ships and the I don't know how to pronounce that because that's not familiar to me. But this is a lot of homeworld stuff, and he knows people who are working with. Oh, this is a lot of third-party information, but they do a lot of officially licensed through the video game company, but built with Lego ships. So you can buy these boxed, nice box artwork, instruction booklet work. All the pieces are there, professionally designed, big sets. So it's worth checking out. If you can follow him on YouTube, he's got I'll link to him, his Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. But totally worth it. A lot of the animations, let me just kind of play one, see if I can mute it so it doesn't compete. But you can see he basically takes the instructions and animates them. And I know he's explained to me what he does with this, but it's just kind of cool. And there's a couple of things that he does that he's improved upon the designs that I've done. So that's very nice. And I've gone back then and adjusted mine because his is a lot better than mine. And I really appreciate that in terms of collaborative works with other people. Lego seems to foster a lot of collaborative builds, like these end wing bits are fantastic. And I couldn't do them originally. Like when I originally designed this ship, I wasn't able to do that because there wasn't a 1x1 bracket. So he was able to capture that design style and then use the part that was available, and it's just fantastic. I don't think, yeah, so we'll just leave that. But anyway, I think that's enough for now. So this week's build, now that we've killed a half hour talking about nonsense, this week's build, oh, real quick, this is, I'm in the middle of doing some instructions. I've done a few instructions this week. And I'm in the middle of doing the instructions for an Acclimator class Star Destroyer. So this is kind of what the process is, and I may have shown you this before, but I'm basically like deconstructing the model, and then you basically go through and step by step try to say, okay, well that piece goes there, that piece goes there, and then you make them in, you know, you go step by step until the whole model's complete. And then you can go up here, and again, shout out to Bricklink for making a pretty solid piece of software. Then you can go through your step editor and make sure it lines up the way you want, and then you can go through and do a page design, and this is what makes it look like instructions from, you know, an actual Lego set. So once that's done, I'll download this, I'll put it up on the Google Drive site. If anybody wants to build it, feel free to stick it up there. Or grab it from there and have fun building it. So, but this is kind of, I wanted to show you real quick the process in making instructions. You're basically going piece by piece, creating a step for each of them, and it doesn't take that long for something that's 150 parts, 100 to 150 parts, but something that's a little more robust, like anything more than 200, 300 parts, it's going to take a while. And that's one of the things that I'm looking to do, is figure out what's worth my time in doing. Because I'd like to design for people and have that be kind of a commission work, but knowing that they're going to have to spend money on getting the bricks themselves, it's akin to saying, okay, you're an artist, you're a painter, I'd like to commission you to do something, and say, okay, well, it's going to take me a month to do it. I'm going to charge you by the hour, and when you're done, you also have to buy all my supplies to get it done. And the supplies are really expensive. You know, it's not like you're buying cheap paint and easels and stuff like that, and they're not cheap, but I mean, a bit of paint can go a long way. You buy a single Lego brick and, you know, it's not like you can paint 5 paintings with it. So there's a bit of work that needs to go on with that I'd like to figure out. So anyway, I'm not going to save this for now because I'm working on it on another machine. But so let's get into the Raven's Claw. Now, the Raven's Claw is a ship that was flown by Kyle Katarn in a video game, and I believe it was the Knights of the Old Republic, or maybe just the Old Republic. Somebody can correct me on that later. The Raven's Claw is actually the second ship. The first ship was the Moldy Crow, and the Moldy Crow I've already done. And it was blowed up, and so they got a new ship called the Raven's Claw, and it wasn't really piloted by him. It was piloted by a different person. I forget her name, but she's a pilot of this ship, and he basically is just the Jedi that tags along. And in the video game, it makes it seem like they're like a partner kind of thing, but in all reality, she's just there to take you from place to place, right? In video game mechanics, she's just there to make sure that you can get off a planet if you need to really quick. So the Raven's Claw is a newer version. It's I think it's a different manufacturer even, but I'm gonna have to read up on that a little bit. I got this ortho from Unique Aspects or something like that. I'm gonna put their name in the description as well, because I borrowed this design, this ortho for the thumbnail, for the YouTube thumbnail. So I want to give credit to that, and it's a pretty good, you know, image to be used. However, I think I'm probably going to base our build off this one right here. And this is another one, which this Adam Kopp, I used his design for the T-Wing before. He does some really good work. Shout out to, you know, Adam Kopp, whoever that is. Thanks for providing Star Wars fans a bunch of really good work. So I forgot to do this, but what I'm going to do for the... get rid of this. I'm going to go grab my Kyle Katarn figure, which means I'm going to get my Moldy Crow. So you're going to be able to see the Moldy Crow, but I just need the figure, and I don't have to F around with redesigning a minifigure for it. Because again, I'm building these around minifigures. They're kind of they're not the decoration for it, but they're it's nice to have, you know, the idea that every little figure, every little character also has a ship. It's not just the ship that's the cool thing, it's the character that has the ship. So if there's not really a good character, like some of the Star Destroyers and stuff, it's hard to do that with because there's no real good character for a Star Destroyer, or, you know, this version of a Star Destroyer or that version of a Star Destroyer. So this is the Moldy Crow. Again, slightly higher in part count, but I like it. I think it turned out well. You'll see this is it's got a bit of collision back here, but I built this in real life and I know it works. It's just the way these clips kind of line up. I could probably rotate it a bit and it'll be fine. But I kind of like the way that looks. I really like the pail handle, bucket handle laser guns here. Oh, that's backwards. I don't know why that's different. Doesn't really matter. I'm not going to save this. But that's my Kyle Katarn. He's vaguely young Obi-Wan-ish with a bit of Han Solo to him-ish. you know, so I don't really care. I'm basically going to use him for the figure. So we're going to get rid of all that, and we're going to start fresh. So there's our Kyle Katarn. I'm going to take his lightsaber away. Also, if you're actually watching, all three of you who are watching now, if you have, I'm just going to move this out of the way. If you're watching, give me an idea on the levels of the music, because I like the music. It's kind of a good level, but it's also, I can understand if it's a bit loud. Also, I'm pretty happy with this music. This is something that Kevin Hinkle, shout out Kevin Hinkle, was, and I'll link to him too in the description. I got all kinds of links that I'm going to be doing. He was listening to, nope, don't want to copy. Kevin Hinkle, I don't know if I've mentioned him before, he used to be the community liaison or community outreach or community ambassador for Lego. He was the manager of the store here in Austin for a time. He was the manager of a store in either Phoenix or Denver or both. So he's been around for a while. And, oh, that's nice. How come I can't split those up? Okay. Well, that's stupid. Hips. I have to get rid of that. This whole thing is, sometimes they do that where this whole thing is a piece and I don't really remember. Anyway, he's got a channel where he draws. He's also a very talented artist, and it kind of bothers me because I thought I was the one who was the cartoonist / Lego builder, but he is also really good at that. So he's got a site with his portfolio. He does streaming with people where he builds his backlog of sets. He sells t-shirts, you know, and I've met him. He's been at some of our conventions. He's a great guy. But his last stream, he was playing this music, and he said it was pretty good, and I liked listening to it while I was watching his stream, so I thought I'd give it a shot. So that's what we're listening to. And it's one of these kind of lo-fi video game chiptune. What are we listening to? Chill Beats, Radio Cutman. So here's Radio Cutman, and I'll link to him. I'll link to them in the description later. So if the music's annoying, just let me know. I'll switch it up or I'll kill it, whatever. All right, so forget, these were this color. And the whole reason I did that is so I could hinge them and sit them upright. 90 degrees. All right, so back to the actual design of, I don't need that, I don't need that. Raven's Claw. So, like the Moldy Crow, I'm probably going to sit him right up here, right in the cockpit. Now, honestly, I could have kept the Moldy Crow's design and for this front part and just colored it different. But let's see if we can improve upon the, this is actually pretty loud for me here, so let's see if we can turn this down a little bit. I'm going to see if I can improve upon the swoopiness here. I don't want to do that. I want to improve upon this area right here. And by improve upon, I mean make it better than my Moldy Crow. Because the Moldy Crow I did was kind of chunky, and it had like a weirdly attached slope on one side and a cheese wedge that kind of felt out of place. But I think I'm going to sit him right where this panel is, because I can already see using a grate or a tile brick right here, or a tile plate right there. This is going to present some problems because it's curved and it's sloped and it's wedged. So there's not a lot of bricks that do that. So we're going to have to get creative with that. But what we might do, and because this is a otherwise relatively simple craft. It's a, you know, it's a main brick, or it's a main fuselage. It's got some, they're not pontoons, but the struts off to the side to hold the engines in place. I mean, it's really basic. It's got some stabilizers here, but I mean, it's not, here's another look at it. I mean, it's not, you know, terribly complicated or anything. So I don't need two of those. So this one's a little more old school. This looks like it actually came out of the video game, like it was probably a render right out of the game itself. It's not completely the same, but it'll give us a general idea of what we'll expect. We can cone up these engine intakes. These are nice and tapered in the back. This might be a little difficult because this is a little exhaust flange or something like that. Heat sinks maybe to keep the engines from spilling out too much energy over the sides, but still enough to where the thrust can be pushed out. So that might present a problem because that's going to be three pieces. It may or may not do that. This looks like a little bit of tail end structure. I don't know what that's for really. And I think without being able to look at the back, that's kind of it. Like this looks like it's one big main piece going up through here. So let's start with, like we always do, and you're probably familiar with this right now, a 2x8 plate. Now, I usually start with a 2x6 plate, but because this is fairly uniform back here, that's going to be really easy to attach some stuff across there. In fact, let's just go ahead and do a 2x6 plate just across here to get, and I may just push it back farther so we can get this little bit of greebling in here. I'll put two little guys there. Yeah, so that'll be nice. Let's see. Now we're gonna have to build this front up. Again, this ship looks fairly simple, but what I've noticed is that a lot of times I'll run into a simple ship and I go crazy over one little bit. If you go back a couple videos, we were working on the Munificent class star frigate, and it had that little hook in the front of the nose of the prow, and I ended up figuring out a solution for it, but it was that Urukai sword that had that little hook, but I agonized over how to get that to work because I knew that was the part that was going to tie the whole thing together. And in the end, it's it's yay big and it's going to sit on a table and nobody's really going to see it, but it's stuck in my head is that's the way to do it. And nothing really sticks out to me on this one. This seems like a fairly straightforward ship, but this curved window and curved front end here are going to be kind of a pain in the butt. So we're going to take some shortcuts because there are slopes that are slightly curved. 2x2 slope. And it's kind of a cheat, and it's a little shallow, but this could work. The problem with this one is that works good for here. It doesn't come to a point though. So another thing that I will agonize over is how to make it come to a point. So there's other ways to do that with 1x2 plate hinge. Oops, if I could type. I'm also going to go ahead and let everyone know that I just came home from a housewarming party and had a few beers before I got here. So we're going to see how this goes. Friends don't let friends design drunk. So I did this on a previous build, the Pirate speeder tank, and in order to make sort of a sloping, curving front end, I used these hinges, and they were the finger hinges. They were these guys. The click hinges are cheaper. What's the difference between these two? Without bottom groove. With bottom groove. Didn't know that. Look at me learning stuff. So the click hinges are great because they're cheaper, because they're newer. These finger hinges haven't been made for a while, so they're a little more expensive. And look at that, we're talking about pick-a-brick wall. So the LEGO user group I'm involved in has a pretty active email list and Facebook group, and one of the discussions lately is the pick-a-brick wall. And if you guys aren't familiar with a pick-a-brick wall, if you go to the LEGO store, there is a wall on the back, or on the side, I guess, depending on your store, that is full of drawers with like little holes in it so you can reach in and get out raw brick or loose brick. And so it's called Pick a Brick because you can just go in and get, do I have one? I have one all the time. Where is it? Why is it not here? Oh, here it is. You get one of these. I don't have a small one because why buy a small one? You get one of these. There is a small one. This is a big one. This is a small one. You fill these full of brick as tight as you can. This is $10, $12. This is 15 or something like that. 9, 15. And if you bring these back into the store, it's a quarter off, 50 cents off, something like that. So, you keep these. But anyway, you go in and they've got a wall, and it's different stores have different amounts, but you can get raw brick that way. You can just get a handful of whatever they have on sale at the time. They used to do it where it was based off a theme. So, like if they were building something that month, like they have monthly builds for kids, and they can, you're hey, get away from there, cat. The Lego store decides, or the Lego company decides, this is the monthly build. Like the flyers that they'll send out, the magazines they send out has a calendar in it, and it'll say, for the next 3 months, on this date, we're gonna have our monthly build, and this monthly build is Easter, so it's a rabbit and a carrot and an egg and a whatever, or it'll be something Halloween related in Halloween, or it'll be 4th of July related, or it'll be Christmas related. So the build will be this like little bitty set, and what you do, the idea is you bring your kid in, or your children. They gear it towards children. It's, it's kind of not right for the AFOL of the community to come in and say, well, I'm going to build this, because you end up keeping the brick, right? But it's like 10 pieces or something like that. So anyway, if they have a theme build, that's what goes on the Pick a Brick, because then it's like, oh, that was really fun. Now I see where I can get all this other brick, and I can just buy more of it, So it's kind of a way to get people to come in and look at what's available and open up their creativity a bit and get to building. Because the more they build, the more they buy. The more they buy, the more they make. The more the Lego group makes. So, and it really does foster creativity. Anytime that you can be creative about something, the better. And I really like seeing things that are built that aren't spaceships. Spaceships are great, trucks are great, but there's a time when you want to build, somebody wants to build a really intricate flower, or a really, I don't know if I've shown you this, but let me check out, I did a contest build, speaking of flowers. Oh, I don't want to log in. See if it'll just find me. No. There we go. So I built this thing. No. Go away. Pictures of my kids. Sorry about that. I did a contest. Where is it? Did I not post it? Anyway, I did a contest where there's the owl. Oh, there it is. It's a big plant. So there are all these triangle pieces, and the contest was, this piece now comes in this set, and everybody's kind of bent out of shape because this piece really doesn't do anything. It's there's a term for a piece that's really sort of locked into, the only thing you can do with this is build a boat out of it, kind of thing. So this was like, the only thing you can really do is build an airplane fuselage out of this. So they're like, do something creative with it. So I took 5 of them and made a giant killer plant. So the contest isn't over yet. I think it's going to end in a couple weeks. I'm hoping I do well because you win prizes, but I really like the way this turned out. Even if I don't win, again, I have the design file for it. I could build it. I just ordered the parts for it. I'm pretty sure this one's going to cost a lot because green is oddly not cheap. So, we'll see. But I like to build that one. That looked fun. I think I went off on a tangent there. Sorry about that. I was talking about Going all the way back to Pick-a-Brick. So the Pick-a-Brick wall, so we're having the discussion in email about that because somebody's like, is there a website that has this kind of, instead of just going into the store to see what's available, is there a site that I can see what's available so I can decide if I want to go in or not? And everyone's like, yeah, there used to be a site, but we kind of did away with it because, or we didn't update it because, why is that not working? Okay. So what happened was because they stopped doing monthly builds, now everybody kind of gets the same brick from everywhere. Oh, that has to collide. Yeah, my collision was turned off. That's rotten. Don't tease me like that. But I might be able to swing that open a little bit. How close can we go? Because they don't do monthly builds anymore, they kind of don't do Pick-a-Brick anymore, which is kind of a shame, but, I mean, they still do the Pick-a-Brick wall, but they don't do nearly as many creative builds for it. So everybody's piece count. Oh, you know what? Yeah. I wish this had a different. I'm gonna get rid of this for a time because I like this more. Also, this may be too long, so let's get rid of that. I can always look that up later. No. Oh, sometimes getting these to fit in here is such a tweaky pain in the butt. So I'm not really unhappy with this music. It's not too bad. It's not terrible. What do you guys think? Let me know. And if you're watching, say hi in the chat. Let me know if you're drinking anything, what you're doing tonight. You got plans? Oh, it's something I had on my notes about what to talk about. Has anyone binged Trending Brick? Hey, what's up? I was talking about you earlier. I was talking about how fabulous your builds are, and I'm super jealous about how good of a designer you are. And I'm totally ripping off all your designs. You're, I think we did the Mobcat speeder at like exactly the same time. But you also did, what's his name, speeder too, and that's on my list to do. But I mean, the problem is I run into all these designers that, yeah, that's taking some getting used to. But I run into a lot of designers that they just look, I was talking about this a couple weeks ago where I ran into somebody posted somebody's like, they're like, have you seen this guy? And it was this guy who had done like 250 microfighters and just blew my mind. Like I really felt like a crisis of conscience coming on because I felt like I wasn't as good as this person, and it was just really hard to get through. That's not really great right there. That's really awful. I wish there was like a wedge. I may not just be knowing what to look for. Anyway, it's good to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. If you like, I don't know if you've seen all my stuff. Yeah, I would be careful about the hauler. I added some 2x2 tiles to kind of secure it, but that means the little wedge bits on the top, which are like 2 Technic bricks, may not fit, so be careful with that. But the arms I thought were great, and they flip up, and they have the landing feet on the bottom of them, so that's pretty good. Welcome back.
Hi.
Say hi to Beth, everybody.
Hello.
So yeah, it's hard sometimes because I mean, even as a comic book artist, I would constantly run into people who I just knew were better than I was at whatever, and it's really hard to kind of keep working from that point to say, well, I'm doing this because I like doing it, and this I like doing. I can't wait to do more designs like this. So it takes everything I can to not, because I do this sometimes at work when I have downtime. I'll design at work, and since I've started this, I've got a list of like 50 more ships that I want to do, and it's everything I can just to stop from doing them at work and wait to do them here. But you know, I've got other stuff I could be doing, especially at work. But I mean, in terms of ordering and designing and fulfilling build requirements and doing instructions for rebrickable, that kind of thing. I feel like I'm stalling on some of this, so I'm going to move on to, this looks like it's kind of over the top, so I'm going to actually do, that attaches right here, so this is going to be brackets. So, Trending Brick, let me ask you, have you seen the Lego contest with the build your favorite Star Wars battle scene? I think it came out probably at the beginning of the month. I didn't know about it until another builder told me that, and we're going to kind of go in on a collaborative build for it, because he has an idea, and I'm not going to say what the idea is, but he had a couple ideas, and I had a couple ideas. Yeah, digital is really weird. It's great because it's fast, and you have kind of unlimited access, but at the same time, then you have to go, okay, will this really work in real life? Because there's no gravity in the software. Even though I have collisions turned on, will this actually fit the way I want to? The contest is, I think it's actually through Lego. Let me look it up real quick. Lego contest, Star Wars battle. Yeah, so it's through Lego Ideas. Greatest battles built by you. So yeah, grand prize winner wins a F ton of sets. Runner up wins an F ton of sets. You know, you have till May 4th. So, and you can do it real life, or you can do it digital. You can do it collaboratively. You just have to figure out who gets what set. I think that's it. You can do it in LDD. You can do it in Studio. You can do it whatever. You can free build it. You can do whatever you want. But as long as it's some sort of Star Wars battle, you know. I had a few ideas because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people who will resubmit their Scarif battle. They're going to resubmit their Scarif battle. They're going to resubmit their Battle of Hoth. I'm really hoping somebody does a, what's the, I'll look it up later, but it's a very wild colored jungle planet. It's not Utapu. That's the kind of the desert underground cave planet. But anyway, I'm hoping somebody does that where it's like brightly colored. They've got some AT-OTs. A lot of these will show up if they weren't part of Order 66, because a lot of those showed up in Order 66 in the movies. They will show up in the Clone Wars. So anything that they've done in the Clone Wars, I think would be a great, you know. There's what was like in the movie, and I forget the name of the planet they're on. Bad Star Wars fan, but the name of the planet escapes me, and it was the first one where it was like traditional warfare, where it was just like these lines of artillery and soldiers, and they had the big octo droids and the big artillery cannons, and like they had to get on either sides of the buildings and kind of jump in. And anyway, that'd be a good one to do because the colors were very unique in that. And that's the kind of thing I think would go well with designing in digital, because you can kind of get away with, well, I may not have these colors, but I know that these colors exist. So what I'll do is I'll just design it here, and then do I want to do round? Do I want to do that? I can get away with whatever color I want to use, because then I know that it'll look good, but then I don't have to actually use it. Oh, look at that. That just kind of snaps right there. brilliant, but I don't want that. Because this kind of attaches, you can kind of see it attaches up at the top. And I don't want to be too weird about it, but 2x2 round. I'm going to go ahead and kind of knock some of this other stuff out because it's kind of a gimme. Oh, it's a truncated. Yeah, that guy. I don't necessarily think I'm going to use this. I love these. These are like these are one of my go-tos every time I'm making engines because they can pin in somewhere on these technicals. You can kind of put a pin over here and kind of attach them. The downside is they rotate. I don't think I have it readily available, but one of the downsides of the new, yeah, I do. This is the downside of the new, and I'm still building. I found a mock of somebody's, but the downside of the new microfighter, Naboo fighter. See, that's really cool. That's not. That's lazy. There's another, and I have the parts for it somewhere. If you give me a minute. I have the parts here in my box of microfighters that I have yet to build. This is what you have to look forward to. Boba. Yeah. Yeah, if you've got information, send me a link to him because I'm always looking for new people to ape designs from or get inspiration or just like take their builds if they have a build for it and just buy the parts for it. I mean, if it's better than whatever I'm building, I got no ego involved. I'll just build whatever they got. You know, I'll totally give them credit for it. When I get all these built out, because I want to build a giant fleet of everything and just fill the whole room with microfighters, I'll make sure to like print their names on tiles and just say, this microfighter is brought to you by this guy. What's up, kitty? I actually don't have the parts. I was really sad. But yeah, so I have Naboo Starfighter. This was a, this I think is a better design because it has, I'm not going to find it this way because this is going to be all the, there it is. Okay, so see how it's got these, it's these click hinges, right? So it's got this little thing, not the cone, but the gray circle behind it, but it's got this bar that goes in here because it's a click hinge. It's this round piece like this with two bars on the side of it, and it's used to make like joints for legs and stuff. Well, they're perfect for this because they don't rotate, but they give you that circle. So this is a really good design. This is the one that I've parted out and I want to get because I think it's a better design, frankly. There could be more done with the sides here, and I'm not a big fan of the flick missiles. I would do without the flick missiles, but anyway, I like the engines on that better than the actual version. So anytime that I can get away with securing something a little more than it being just a pin that can rotate, that's no good. And I'm really just, I'm beside myself at how lazy that was for Lego to do. I think that's just really trash. But, you know, I don't work there. That said, I don't know how I'm going to attach this really. I'm just going to do a 1x1 cone because I feel like I'm stalling until I can figure out how to set this up. So that was good. Again, if you're just joining me, beer of choice today, Temptress. It's the French Quarter. It's an imperial milk stout, and it's got chicory flavor. That's where it's at. It's very tasty. So here's the other thing. There's tapering going on here. I'm not going to be able to do that. This is just too small of a model. I'm not going to do my classic put the grill rounds on there either, even though I love those things. These are great. I love these for engines, man. They just look so cool. I'm not going to do that. This tapers a bit in the back, and I don't have any idea how I'm going to get 3 of those. 3 just seems like a really odd number of... Anytime that you're working with Lego and there's 3 of something, it's not going to work. 4 is fine. You could do 4, but anytime there's 3, I get tweaked. So I may not even do that. I may just kind of fake it, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Still don't know how I'm going to attach this. Still don't know how I'm going to do the... So this is... We get back to the... this looks like a simple fighter, but there's so many bits. Like this right here is just not something Lego does. You know? It's just not. This I can turn... Let's just say that's tan now. That works, right? Yeah, that'll be nice. Let's see. Clone, Y-Wing, Vader's, AT Holler, Hailfire Droid. Your Hailfire Droid, by the way, is fantastic. Also, the one that you've got, and I don't know the name of it, it's the one that, it's like the treads with the eyes on top. It looks like a snail. It's the one that comes out of the water on Kashyyyk. You may have said, blah, 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 blah. Episode 1, Droid Starfighter. I forget which one it was, but yeah, that one's fantastic. I saw that one like yesterday or 2 days ago, and I was just like, I'm done. I give up. It was so good. Like, such a... I'm going to show everybody because it's fantastic. I can't even with this. And I don't even remember if I'm going to be able to... trending brick. Nope. The trending brick? I don't want to have to sign on, but yeah. How come I'm not following you? Oh, I'm not signed on. This is just goram beautiful. It's the execution, the epitome of space and part usage. It's wonderful. How many parts was this? That's so great. This is one that's on my list, but I never thought I was going to do it because it's one of those. Yeah, send a pic if you got it. This is one of those that I had on my list, but it's like low on my list because it was. I just felt it was small enough, and the Hailfire Droid was kind of the same way. I felt like it was so small. As like a Lego set and as like a actual vehicle that I didn't think it was going to be worth doing. But at the same time, I did a speeder bike, and I don't think I shaved off maybe 10 pieces off my speeder bike from the actual set. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, I saw that and it blew my mind. Plus, I love the way you do your squad photos. I need to get a light tint and a good kind of no edge infinity background so I can start taking some better pictures instead of doing the crap in my bathroom. You should count parts. You should give them to me so I can make instructions for them. All right, so this is the Golden Ale. It's a bit hoppy. I'm not a fan of it. That's not to say it's not good if you are into IPAs. It's IPA-ish. Where's my what's the hops? Is he still here? What do you think of this one, Cigar City? It's not terrible. It's on the lighter side of IPAs, but it's still got that kind of bitter sour. And this one's very foamy. It's got a lot of carbonation in it. Okay, I probably won't be buying that again. All right, so I have to make some progress here. I feel like I'm not really going anywhere with this. So this is a struggling point right here because this is attaching high up, although it doesn't really matter. I can probably just, I don't know. Oh, you know what? You know what we could do? I was just talking about that. What is that part? Excuse me. I'll tell you what. To Bricklink we go. So this is kind of cool. If you have a part, this is also kind of nice. You can click on this, the number of the part, and it opens up the Bricklink page where that part exists. And, well, it doesn't in Safari because I'm on a Mac and this is not my computer, but it opens it up in Bricklink, and you can then say, well, what colors does that come in? And you can automatically say, okay, it comes in those colors. That's kind of a nice thing. I like that. I don't like that that opened up in Safari. I'm gonna log in and I'm gonna check out. This is how I do things normally, wanted list. So paper for the photo in my kitchen. Yeah, see, I've got a lot of old sheets of like Bristol board from when I was doing comic books and stuff, and I could probably do that. I have a light tent built, like a cardboard box that I can just put sheets on the side of it and get some lights on either side so it gives it the diffuse look. So if anybody wants to know, this is what my wanted list looks like. This is what all my wanted lists are. This is all the ships that I have to buy parts for. So these are all the ships that I've designed, and it's just a ridiculous amount. So anything that says microfighter, it's a new design. I point to the screen because you can see where I'm pointing. Anything that says MF this is the parts I need. So these are the parts that I've just ordered. So I'm doing Houndstooth, Imperial Patrol. I thought I was doing the Genevex fighter, the Bongo. I forget which other ones I'm doing. Anyway, so let's do Naboo because I'm here on a purpose. I'm still going to build this one because I think it's better. This is 44225. So 44225. This might be the part that I need for here. Look at this. It's beautiful. Look at that. Now I need an axle. So trending brick, because I don't know your name, and that's fine. I have a few friends who are photography friends, and I know that if I don't use an actual kind of a lighting studio or, oh God, what is that? Yeesh, I don't want that at all. If I don't use like the right equipment, I'm gonna get called out on. What are these? This looks really weird. Why do those look weird? That is weird. Anyway, that's not to say that doing it any other way is wrong. I'm just saying that I know I could hack it, but I'd like to do it so it's nice, and I could do it for bigger models because I've got some bigger models that I want to take pictures of. So we'll see. I had a giant spaceship that I needed to take pictures of, but I mean, it was seriously like 4.5 feet tall. It was this weird. I don't know that I had it on Instagram, but I know I had it on Imgur somewhere. Anyway, it was easily as like up to my waist. It was, and then only like about this long. It was this weird sort of obnoxious looking anime kind of spaceship, but it was all in Futuron style. Oops. Because I'm a huge Futuron nerd. What is going on? Not now. But I would have liked to take a better picture of it than I did. Oh, that's genius. Look at that. That's just so pretty. So that gives us a nice kind of, yeah, I like that a lot. And it's pretty good spacing. It's not perfect. I got your message, thanks. I will check that out after the stream's done. I have a thing to go to tonight, but as soon as that's done, I will check it out. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, the overall shot is really great too. I love the shot with all of your stuff on it. I did one. No. I did a shot. I'll respond with the one I did, but it was like I put all the builds that I had together in studio into one big, like, not palette, but one big layer kind of thing, like Photoshop layers, like a one big thing. And I put all the models I had into it, and I had like 150 of them. It was It was egregious. It was such an ego trip. That's all it really was. Because I'm like, look at all the things that I did. All right, so this works out pretty well. The downside is the clicking here, the things it attaches to are not really lined up really well. But I do believe we're on the right track. I may even get rid of that. That doesn't need to be there. 1x3 smooth slope, then bracket the bottom with a notified point piece inverted. No idea that would work or not. For this one, the 1x3 smooth slope with a notified point piece inverted. So 1x3 are the slope. Are you talking about like the front cowl or the front nose piece? Like this? I mean, I could see doing that and like jumpering the middle. That might come together a little bit if I could figure out how to get that in there. I could raise these up a little. That might work. Let me see if I can figure out how to attach these back end pieces. Oh, you know what? Natural. 2x1, Technic, brick. Nope. One. Oh, God. Studio, help me out here. 1x2, Technic, brick, pin. What? Is it not a Technic brick? Oh, modified brick. Okay. So these guys are going to go like so, but these guys are in the way. So I'm digging the jams. I think I'm going to use these guys from now on. This music, it's not bad. I'm a big fan of the chill lo-fi stuff that's like, it's like 30 seconds of music. Oh, that's not sitting there, right? My girlfriend doesn't think that it's, she's like, how do you not listen to this and fall asleep? Like, cause yeah, all right. So now I can cover those up in the back with some like brackets over the top kind of thing. That looks fly. I like that. That is not too shabby. This needs to be raised up. So, and like every stream, I talk too much at the front end and I don't leave enough time to build. Like so. I also need him to be a little more ensconced in a cockpit-ish area, so maybe raising these up is not going to be a terrible idea. Thanks for joining me, everybody, on this Saturday night. Oh, you know what? And then I could do 1x2 jumper. It's always fun to have people here on a Saturday night. I think I'm going to try to do Saturday nights from now on, but I am at the whim of children who have... that's not great. I don't know if that's what you're going for. Modified. What about the 1x smooth slope and then bracket the bottom with a modified point piece inverted? Oh, you mean like 2x1 inverted. Like one of these guys? I don't know if that's gonna... Oh, that almost works. Does that actually conflict, or that does not collide? Look at that. I'm leaning into the camera. I wonder if it's because the notch there. Look at that. That's rad. That is in no way what I really wanted, but just that the fact that it doesn't collide makes me happy. This may not be the way I want to go with this. Does anybody else hear the sort of Studio Ghibli thing going on in the background here? Oh, that's a nice little 8-bit Enterprise. All right, real quick before we run out of time, I'm gonna jam on a brick. Why do I have to go through all these numbered bricks before I get to the one I want? Oh, there it is. So I'm going to run into a lot of issues with being held in place properly. A lot of support, because I don't want these to fall off. That may be enough for now. But I recognize that he's got a thing right here that's going to be a problem even if I put one more sort of layer on that. 1x2. What is this whole thing is sort of a grill. Oh, and you know what I forgot? Oh, what just happened? It's upside down. Thanks for stopping by, Trending Brick. I'll check out that link later. I'll be here next week, so if you can, stop by and say hi to the wife and kids. So I'm about ready to wrap this up anyway, but I thank you for those who have been joining me. That's a little too high there. I got another 10 minutes maybe. I started on time, so that was good. I actually figured out, and again, I'm going to remind a few people, or whoever's watching, that I've got two things going on. I've got I keep looking over at that screen. I've got a new, if you have any input about how to do a Pixel 3 phone to a Macintosh High Sierra operating system to make this the webcam through OBS, because I found applications that will do like Droid Cam will work on Android operating systems, but that's if you have Windows 10. If you have anything other than Windows 10, I wasn't able to find anything. So if you know of anything that will do cross-platform stuff, just kind of a catch-all, or if there's a driver I need for Mac or anything like that, let me know. Because I'd like to be able to, without tipping the laptop's webcam down, do a face cam and then a mounted camera so we can do some builds. Because by next week, and I'm gonna really try not to build these beforehand. If I can figure it out before then. That way we can spend some time, instead of designing, we can spend an hour and a half doing some building. I don't think that'll take very long, so we can do a couple builds and then maybe start a new design like this. These seem to be higher. I want these to be higher. Or maybe the nose cone just goes a little lower. In fact, we could probably bring these back down. So yeah, if you've got any input on software stuff, Goldie and the Bear, Goldilocks and the Bear, what's the hops? I'm looking at you. If you got any suggestions about that, let me know. I am working off of kind of borrowed software and borrowed hardware. So I don't mind having to buy stuff. I just haven't at this point. This is all stuff that I already kind of have. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to have to reread Trending Brick's because I think I know what he was going for, but I don't. Again, and I feel like a schlub for doing this, but he, she, they. What is with? Oh, plate. There, and I know you saw their stuff. It was fantastic. It's just really good. That's not terrible. Oh God, no, that's terrible. I just don't like these hinges. I'm just getting rid of these hinges. It's just not good. I think I'll keep. Yeah, gross. This is all gross. It's just gross. I think I'll keep that, and then I'll probably do like the 2x1. I'll keep these guys in here because they seem to nicely come to a point, unlike this video. So if I could figure out how to, and this is almost the same thing as the stupid munificent carrier. If I can get these guys to come together like this somehow in the front, oh, wouldn't that be sweet? That might need to be like a clip, like a 1x1 clip. I should have started just by doing that. This is one of those things where it's going to drive me nuts, but it's the weird kind of, it's the single defining piece of the build. Like, I know that this will work, but I just have to figure out how to make it work. So like if I could make that work, that would probably be pretty close. And this might be, I could even do it a bit more shallow. This could almost be a 1x1 clip. Is this going to be pretty? Nope. Dang it. So close. Oh no. This might be too big, but we'll see. Grab it. Hey Beth, why is the cat wanting to get into your office right now? Nope. So here's the crappy part. Look at this. Watch this. Oh my God. Isn't that just... Doesn't that break your heart? This is going to make me laugh. This is one of those things where it's like I get into such a weird headspace with this kind of stuff that I giggle when I see stuff like this, but it's not. Oh man. That it's one of those, it's almost like a super inside joke that nobody else is going to appreciate because you're such a nerd about whatever you're working on. And you're okay with that. As long as you're okay with that. Oh, man. So close. All right, so we're at 7:29. I think I'm going to wrap this up. But thanks for joining me. This was a more than slightly futile effort to do the Raven's Claw. I think I'm going to work on this heavily this week. And next week, I'm going to do probably a little more time designing and less time chit-chatting up front. I'll try to get all the stuff that I want to talk about interspersed with the video a little more. But I'm going to put all the shout-outs in the description below. I'm going to talk about... So my friend, the guy from TextLugs named Stefan, I think Garcia. I'm sorry, Stefan, if I don't remember your last name, but we've only really met once, but we've talked a lot on Facebook, and he really has supported me doing a lot of the microfighter stuff, so I thank you very much for doing that. And the instruction builds that he's done, the videos are great. Also, to recap, make sure I talk about everything. Next week we should have, or I should have some models that I can build with you guys. I might look into doing more of a Hangouts. If anybody wants to do a Hangouts, let me know. We can do a Hangout together. I will figure out a way not to do like an OBS, but maybe just like an open YouTube Hangout, and we can have a beer together and do some Lego building, and we'll see how that goes. But that may be a different kind of setup. Again, I'll put in links for Brick Fiesta. I'll put in a link for the Google Drive if you all are interested in that. Show a list of the builds that I'm going to be working on in the future. There's still a good couple dozen that I'm gonna get to. Again, if anybody has any information about Pixel 3 to Mac OS camera software, that'd be great. Don't forget the shop at home discounts. If you're a Lego buyer, if you go to shop at home, there's like 5 or 6 sets that if you order and then you put in your cart, and then when you go to place the order, it's about 50% off. So one of them is the First Order Scout Heavy Walker. I'm probably going to get another one. I've already ordered one. The shirt, Will Heron Designs. I'm going to get another one because this one's slightly ruined, but I'll let you know. Red Card exclusive. If you don't have one, get one. Thanks again to the Trending Brick for showing up. He's got some great builds. Go check out his stuff. I'm going to link to his Instagram. And I think that's it. So we had the Golden Ale from Cigar Bay or Cigar City Brewing, and we had the Temptress French Quarter from Lakewood Brewing. Those are the beers for tonight. I hope you enjoy your Saturday, and take care, everybody. Good night.